This Twins and Indians series on Fox Sports North is presented by Ram Trucks, built to serve. It's the last series of the year between the Twins and the Indians. Looks like the Indians are going to the playoffs again this year, and the Twins still have hopes of getting back to the 500 mark. Take a look at the records of the best teams, and the Indians are in the playoff hunt, certainly. And the guy in the picture there, a big reason why. Might get some AL MVP consideration. He's got competition to be the MVP of his own team. No question on the Twins side, though. Eddie Rosario's been the most valuable Twin this year, and he's enjoyed hitting against the Cleveland Indians this year. And we welcome you to Progressive Field. Dick Bramer along with Roy Smalley. Now hang with me on this. The Twins do not want to be in Cleveland. They want to be Cleveland. They want to be the team that's on its way to its third straight division championship, and yet they have played the Indians toe-to-toe pretty well.
They haven't played necessarily against everybody else in their division or elsewhere as well as they've played Cleveland, but these guys, this good Cleveland team, Twins have gone toe-to-toe with, and they've done it hitting the ball pretty efficiently. You look at the all the stats here. The batting average exactly the same, but the Twins basically have been efficient, drawing some walks and getting big hits with guys on base. We'll see if they can continue that in this series.
Well, we mentioned that Jose Ramirez will get some league MVP consideration. So will his running mate on the left side of the Cleveland infield, Francisco Lindor, two of the best players in the American League.
Well, they both deserve MVP consideration. This guy has just absolutely led this team offensively. And Francisco Lindor, what can I say about a switch hitting shortstop? I think that's pretty important to a ball club. He does it all defensively and offensively. Ramirez just keeps pounding it. Both those guys have led this team and will get MVP consideration.
The lineup's been more productive than the Twins lineup. The pitching staff has been better for Cleveland than Minnesota, but the Twins will send out their most reliable starter, Kyle Gibson, against Carlos Carrasco, who's saving his best for the end in 2018. Sports North is presented by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us.
FordNow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today.
A very warm and humid evening, preparing the Twins for what awaits them later on this road trip in Texas. And it will be Carlos Carrasco going against Kyle Gibson. Both pitchers doing very well this year. Gibson statistically, even though he doesn't have the wins piled up like Carrasco does, maybe a little bit of the edge over Carrasco. But both pitchers have the ability to strike a lot of guys out with a really good mix of breaking balls.
It has turned Kyle Gibson's career around. His ability to throw this little breaking ball on that outside or just off that outside corner or inside to left-handers. It's a swing and miss pitch as good as there has become in baseball. And couple that with a much improved changeup. And Kyle Gibson finally has the put away pitch that has really been the problem in the past. He just couldn't put guys away, but put guys away, this guy can do it. Same kind of breaking ball. This one goes down and away, sometimes just straight down, that slider that Carrasco has, but he will follow that up also with a changeup, a split finger variety. These two guys can make bats miss, and that's what we'll probably see tonight.
It's a long and very difficult road trip for the Twins. 3 here in Cleveland, then 3 in Texas, and then 3 in Houston against the defending world champs, and it all gets underway here momentarily. As can happen with the current scheduling format, the Twins will face Carlos Carrasco for the 6th time this season. 6 different series between the two teams, and Carrasco's had a start in all 6. And the Twins with a winning record against the American League Central, but the Indians have separated themselves from the Twins and everybody else by dominating the American League Central. They're 38-19 against teams within their division. The Menards batting order for the Twins in Game 1. Joe Mauer in the leadoff spot, then Logan Forsythe, Eddie Rosario back in the lineup, Miguel Sano, Max Kepler, Tyler Austin, Jake Cave, Mitch Garver, and A. Ray Adrianza.
The whole furniture starting pitcher stats tonight with Carlos Carrasco. Here's what you need to know. Since July 6th, he has struck out 55 guys and walked 7.
And he'll face Joe Mauer, who effectively put him on the disabled list when he hit a line drive and hit Carrasco in the elbow back in the middle of June. And the Twins had an earlier start that month against Carrasco, where he lasted just 3 2/3 innings, gave up 6 earned runs. So they've had some success, but he's also had 3 really good starts against the Twins. Mauer takes outside, and it's 1-1. 90 degrees at game time, which will feel like a cool, refreshing evening. 89 on the stadium scoreboard here when we get to Texas, and we're expecting temperatures to be at least 10 degrees hotter. Mauer with a ground ball single to right field to get the game started. Mauer at first, still stuck on 999 runs scored. We'll see if the Twins can bring him around for number 1000. Man aboard, and now Logan Forsythe. Northland Ford defense for the Indians. Brantley is in left field. Allen is in center. Melky Cabrera's turned it on in August. He's doing well in right field, at least at the plate as the right fielder. Ramirez, Lindor left side of the infield. Kipnis and Alonso on the right side, and Yan Gomes behind the plate. Here's Logan Forsythe. Twins have some hitters who've done well against Carrasco. Forsythe, one of them, 6 hits and 15 at bats. And he takes a fastball, strike 1.
Joe Mauer as well has been hitting against Carrasco for a long time, and 39 at bats coming into the game. Hitting 359, of course, his 40th at bat. What's new? Base hit.
This is the 3rd time this month that the Twins have faced Carrasco. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball, and it's 0-2. There was fear, of course, when Mauer's line drive hit Carrasco that he'd suffered a break in the elbow area. He was on the disabled list for a while, but has come back and pitched awfully well. And he pitches up high to Forsythe, 1-2. In August, he's 3-2 with a 2.30 ERA, with again 2 of those starts this month coming against the Twins. Tapper left side, slowly hit. They'll get the lead runner, and Forsythe will beat the relay. Slowly hit ground ball, but Lindor, is it possible to keep one eye on the baseball and the other eye on the runner? Knew he had a play at second.
Quick hands, soft hands. He can really play shortstop. And I watched him. I was out here early. He's amazing. As good as he is, it was 90 degrees out here, and he hit for about 20 or 25 minutes, and then he went out to shortstop and did shortstop drills, and he did it with like a small pancake glove that had no pocket, just so he could get used to making plays like that. Ball coming out of his gloves quickly. Amazing athlete and a hard worker.
Rosario flips the first pitch foul. I was watching that from up here, and he was doing different situations. Infield in, and he'd field the ground ball. There's no runner at third base, but he would look, glance toward third base, and then throw across the diamond. Great, to me, attention to detail to practice, a play like that.
I went up and asked the coaches that were hitting the ground balls, how often does he do this? Because it's late in the season.
Fly ball to center field, playable for Allen. 2 down.
It's late in the season. It's 90 degrees outside. He's already established himself as a premier defensive player. I said, how often does he do this? And they said, well, pretty much every day. That's his work ethic. And I kind of smiled and said, there's not a whole lot of surprise about how good he is, right? They said, nope. It's funny how that works.
Here is Miguel Sano. Sano trying to get a little more traction to that batting average and finish strongly here in the final weeks. Try to get the batting average up in the 240, 250 range. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. got a leadoff single from Mauer now with 2 out. Forsythe is at first. Just outside, 1-1. Breaking ball taken for a strike. And it's 1-2. Remarkable. The Indians have 3 of their starting pitchers in the top 10 in the league in earned run average. Carrasco's at 3.55. He's not one of them. That's how deep this starting rotation is. Yeah. Twins won't see him, and they wouldn't have recognized him if he did take the mound. Corey Kluber shaved today. Got rid of the beard. But it really is remarkable, and it's no secret why the Indians are where they are in the top of the division. They've got Bauer, Kluber, and Clevenger in the top 10 in ERA, and then this guy sitting 14th. Forsythe chased back to the bag.
And that lineup's been known to score a few runs as well, so
yeah.
It's a pretty complete team.
1-2 to Sano. Swung on and missed. A strikeout to end the inning. Bauer gets a base hit, and Carrasco retires the next 3 batters. The verge of its 3rd straight division title in the American League Central. And here is his Menard's batting order for the opener. Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley, Jose Ramirez, Edwin Encarnacion, Yonder Alonso, Melky Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, Yan Gomes, and Greg Allen.
The home furniture starting pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, Kyle Gibson, talked about in the open how he has developed a terrific swing and miss pitch. A little breaking ball he's got, made all the more effective because he's throwing 2 fastballs, and that's what 2 different fastballs. We'll watch that and talk about that tonight.
And Lindor takes one at the belt for a strike. He has maintained his velocity. He's on a verge perhaps to eclipse the 200 innings pitch mark for the first time this year. 1 strike to Lindor. And a bullet to center. Lindor got a second look at a fastball and lined it sharply to center. So each team with a leadoff single in the first. And that'll bring up Brantley. Northland 4 defense for the Twins. Left-handed batters in the outfield. Rosario, Cave, and Kepler. In the infield, it's Sano, Adrianza, Forsythe, and Mauer, with Mitch Garver doing the catching. Adrianza getting the start in place of Jorge Polanco. Twins gave Eddie Rosario the day off on Sunday to give him a 2-day break, and now on the backside of the day off, Polanco getting that opportunity to get a couple days off. had some leg tightness.
Yeah, a little crampy in the hamstrings, and good opportunity to get him 3 days and make sure everything's just fine.
1 strike to Brantley. There's Polanco. Paul Molitor saying he's available to play tonight. Missing inside 4 fastballs. The first 4 pitches for Gibson. Gibson with 1 win, 2 losses, but an ERA of under 4 against the Indians this year. This is his 5th start against Cleveland. He's made, prior to today, 26 starts, and 16 of them have been quality starts, and that's what the Twins have been sorely lacking in August. Quality starts. They've had just 4 of them. It's amazing when you think this Twins team has a .500 record in August, but only 4 quality starts. And here we are. It's August 28th.
Tough to keep that going without the starting pitchers pitching well. That they have that .500 record based on how well the bullpens pitch and how they've swung the bats, both of which have been pretty good. The starting pitching not so much.
Breaking ball tapped to short. Forsythe. And Sano's throw wide of Mauer, and it went into the camera well. And an error on Sano will allow Brantley to go to second base. Nice submarine style throw from Forsythe, but he had some steam behind it, and Sano just hooked his throw to Mauer.
Well, Forsythe does a really nice job of getting around the ball so he fields it as he's facing second base. Watch this. He'll come and backhand and be facing the second base right here so that he makes a good strong throw. Sano with the right footwork, everything's working well. He just overcooked it a little bit. Give the big man a little bit of a break. He's not used to making that play so often. He used to in his youth when he played some shortstop.
Yeah.
Certainly athletic enough to make that play, but that's not one that he goes out there and practices on a daily basis at all.
1-0 to Ramirez with Brantley at second and 1 away. And taken low, 2-0. Ramirez and Lindor might be their toughest competition for winning the league MVP. Now there's some other great years being put together. A couple of Boston hitters, J.D. Martinez, Mookie Betts. Sharply hit, and Adrianza gets the out at first, and on to third goes Brantley. Perfect double play ball if not for the Sano error. 2 down.
Pizza Ranch, excuse me, Dick, Pizza Ranch for the win here tonight. As Dick's been talking about, need a quality start from Kyle Gibson. Starting pitching, not been doing that, and could you really use one from Kyle Gibson? How's he going to do that? Be aggressive with the fastball, and he started off that way so far this first inning. I like the way he's challenging the Cleveland hitters with fastballs so far. That's what he needs to do.
3 infielders left side for Edwin Encarnacion. And he hits one down the right side, foul into the seats, 1 strike.
Gibson has, ever since last year, about this time, a little bit earlier than this time last year, been pitching very, very well. And he started at that time last year throwing 2 fastballs, the sinker and the 4-seamer.
Oh, Garver blocked it somehow, and it kicked in front of home plate and not behind it. Not sure where that hit Mitch, but the end result is Brantley still stuck at third base. It looked like that almost hit the heel of his glove. Yeah,
it did hit. That had backstop written all over it. Pretty nice play by Mitch there to knock that down.
1-1 now to Encarnacion. Now 1-2.
So you see that fastball there at 95. That's the four-seam fastball. Kyle has always been a sinker ball pitcher, and he's come up with he has decided to throw the four-seam fastball that he can get in on hitters with, and then the sinker to get the ground balls, and that messes with the hitter when he's got to contend with two fastballs.
Drilled down the line, but foul. Heck of a stop by the ball boy down there. Not sure whether it hit him or his stool. Encarnacion ready for that pitch, just couldn't wait long enough. Still 1-2.
So the effect of having the two fastballs is that hitters have got those two on their minds, and the breaking ball that Kyle has developed has become his swing and miss pitch with 2 strikes.
They're blocked by Garver, and it's 2-2.
That's the one right there that normally he is a little bit more tantalizingly close to the outside, low outside corner, and that's the one that right-handers swing and miss an awful lot with, I mean, with regularity. And I mentioned that one of the biggest problems for Gibson in the past is he would get to 2 strikes and couldn't put hitters away with anything, and that pitch has become his strikeout pitch.
Breaking ball, pop foul into the seats. Encarnacion's average down a bit, but he's still a big run producer and swinging a very potent bat out of the cleanup spot. 28 home runs, 87 runs batted in. Off the plate, 3-2. You look at this Cleveland lineup, where their numbers are and where we are in the season, and they have a legitimate chance to have 4 guys drive in 100 runs. Encarnacion has 87, Ramirez 91, Alonso 74, Lindor 78. Full count to Encarnacion. And another foul laid on that fastball. And talked about the velocity, and Gibson's been able to maintain it. That clocked at 96.
When he was just a sinker ball pitcher, you just have to be a sinker ball pitcher has to be so perfect. Their best sinkers are below the strike zone, and if big league hitters oftentimes can just make him get the ball up in the strike zone, then the ball doesn't sink as much and they knock it around a little bit. But that 95, 96, that changes everything.
And a tapper foul again at 96. So Encarnacion trying to wear Gibson out here in the first inning.
We said this is an example of Kyle having a hard time putting hitters away in the past, and he's thrown him 2 of his breaking balls with 2 strikes trying to put him away, and he's missed with both of them. One was down in the dirt and the other one's up and away. He hasn't thrown the good one yet.
And ball 4, Encarnacion takes a walk, and Alonso will come up with 2 men aboard. Referencing Gibson's innings pitched, 3 years ago he threw 194 2/3 innings, and depending in part on what the Twins decide to do in September with the rotation, they may have an opener for some games, they may have a 6-man rotation, although finding out today Michael Pineda's got a bit of a cartilage issue in his right knee, and so his chances of pitching for the Twins in September just took a serious hit. Here is Alonso. And now pitch number 20 for Gibson. On the outside corner. If Gibson were to go just 6 innings today, he would be 8th in the American League in innings pitched. Category led by Kluber, who will not pitch in this series. One strike. And now a ball. But you're looking at an important category for a pitcher, starting pitcher, innings pitched, and he'd be on the same list as Kluber, Verlander, Cole, Shields, Keuchel, Bauer, who may not pitch again this year, Severino, Barrios. Check swing, taken low for ball 2.
Got to have that pitch.
Jerry Meals is the home plate umpire. Where was this?
Yeah, Jerry, you just have to call that pitch, Jerry. Pitcher needs that one.
Home plate umpire is the crew chief. Hickox, Morales, and Lipka on the bases. Two and one to Alonso, and now 2-2.
It's a changeup right there and a good one. You know, that pitch, that low fastball that where Kyle Gibson did not get the call, is a perfect example of it. How important each pitch and each call and the resulting count is. That's one of the key ones right there. 1-1. The difference between going to 2-1 and 1-2 for a pitcher and a hitter is huge. Should have been 1-2, got to 2-1. Kyle comes right back with a great changeup and gets himself back with an opportunity to be advantage Gibson here.
And another tapper foul. The Indians are first Encarnacion and now Alonso fighting off some tough 2-strike pitches. '25th pitch of the first inning for Gibson.
Not the way that Kyle envisioned this first inning starting with 25 minimum.
26 coming up, and you figure, looking at this lineup, if you're a starting pitcher, I would imagine you think, look, there are going to be some tough innings, 1 or 2. You just would rather it not be the very first inning.
Right. And the thing about the first inning, oftentimes it takes a pitcher an inning or 2 to get his good command going. Kyle Gibson has not been throwing the fastball exactly where he wants to. He's fighting command just a little bit. Happens a lot in the first.
Check swing, but he went.
There's the strikeout pitch. That's what he was looking for.
Took him a while, but he pitched a scoreless first, and the Indians leave 2 on in their first inning. on the 10-day disabled list with a stress fracture in his right fibula, and they hope he'll be back by the end of September, because they're really going to need him come playoff time. There are some here who will whisper it. They won't say it too loudly, but they'll whisper it, that they think Bauer's stuff is better than Corey Kluber's right now, and so it would give them a really good 1-2 punch out of their rotation come playoff time.
Can't really argue with those whispers. I mean, it's sacrilegious as it may sound. It's Bauer has come up with 2 or 3 more miles per hour with the fastball that he's throwing for strikes, and he's always had that great curveball.
1-0 to Max Kepler. Swung on and missed. 1-1.
That's the pitch right there. So there's a sequence of pitches right here. To be successful against Carrasco, you have to try and fight against. So he's ahead 1-0, and then he swings at that slider or split finger changeup. Sometimes they look the same, below the strike zone.
And a little cue shot towards third, and Ramirez with a throw across, a step ahead of Kepler, 1 down.
This is so much easier said than done, but if you're going to get to Carrasco, you have to have him throw a lot of pitches, which means take the ones that are below the strike zone. He's best with that breaking ball and changeup below the strike zone, so you have to lay off that, which makes him throw the fastball in the middle of the plate. Then you have a chance. But if you get yourself out of counts, Max was up 1-0 there. The changeup low would have been 2-0. Now he's in the driver's seat. When he swings and misses that, the advantage goes back to the pitcher.
Pitches up to Tyler Austin. He'll be followed by his minor league teammate in the Yankee system, Jake Cave. This one's got a leadoff single from Joe Mauer, but then Carrasco got the next 3 batters and the opening batter here in the 2nd inning. Austin takes a strike. Austin so far as a Twin, 14 hits, 42 at bats, 6 home runs, and 9 runs batted in. Big swing on the breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
And there it is again. And again, I want to say it's easier for me to say than it is for hitters to do. So you saw the 3, he shook off the slider. Now he wants to go away with the fastball.
And Austin was ready for that. He was a little late on it. 1-2. In the brief homestand, we saw Austin show power to fields other than the pull field. Center, right field.
He has awesome power. He really does. There's no ballpark that can hold him from foul pole to foul pole.
And now outside, 2-2.
When a guy throws 95 miles an hour, I mean, the tendency for a hitter, and it's understandable, you tend to get a little anxious to get the bat head going out in front, and you tend to swing at the first thing you see rather than recognizing whether it's a fastball or the slider. Right, just like that.
Breaking ball gets a strikeout. 2 down. That'll bring up Cave.
So you say, why does he swing at that? It's clearly down and away. Well, right there, it's fastball. Nope, it wasn't. See, his head and everything, the big end of his bat, his head was going to left field, thinking, identifying fastball about halfway to the plate, and then not seeing it just a little longer, not seeing that it was the breaking ball before he'd already committed to fastball speed.
5 in a row set down by Carrasco, and now Jake Cave. Mentioned Cave and Austin came through the Yankee system together, played together at AA and AAA. And what are the chances they both would have a chance, their best chance in Austin's case, everyday playing time for the first time in a completely different organization. On 1 hop to Ramirez at third. Cave thrown out, and it's a 1-2-3 second for Carrasco. Through a scoreless first, hoping for an easier time here in the second inning. Our BP Brighter picture involves Gibson over the last calendar year and what he's done and how he has transformed himself into, right now, the most reliable starting pitcher the Twins have. Here's Cabrera taking strike one.
Those calendar year numbers, that's what I was talking about. He started throwing the two different fastballs at the beginning of that stretch of numbers that we just looked at, and that has really changed him around.
There's a swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 to Cabrera. Just 3 for 31 against Gibson over the years, but he comes into this series as Cleveland's hottest hitter. 2 strikes. And a bigger breaking ball. Strike 3 was not a foul ball. 1 down. And that'll bring up Kipnis.
Gibson's starting to find the release point and the feel on the breaking ball. This is the swing and miss pitch that we talked about in the open of the show and also in the first inning. The one that he wants to put hitters away with. He didn't have it until the last pitch to Alonso to get it out of the first inning. 3 really good ones there to Milky Cabrera.
On that last pitch, the replay, you could see it looked like out of his hand. Pitch was going to be up around the shoulders, and it bounced right around the plate. I mean, that's a huge vertical drop.
Yeah, and that pitch right there, that 95 miles an hour, just in under the hands of a left-hander. That's what gets those guys swinging at that breaking ball because they have to be so much quicker at 95 than they did the old 91 mile an hour sinker.
Inside again, 2-0.
I'm a big fan of Kyle's 4-seam fastball now to left-handers, bury it inside like that, get them impressed with the speed so that it opens up the outside part of the plate and it opens up off speed.
You're talking about in off the plate or in for a strike?
Both. Corner or in or in.
On the ground, hit right to Adrianza. 2 away.
And there was a sinker. So he impressed him with 95 mile an hour fastballs in. Now Kipnis looking for the fastball, throws a little sink. Kipnis hits over the top of it just a little bit and he gets an out. That's a perfect example of why 2 fastballs are so much tougher on hitters than just the sinker that he used to have.
Now Yan Gomes had pretty good success against Gibson. 12 hits, 27 at bats. 2 down, bases empty. And that pitch up, ball 1. Over the inside corner. Gibson and Carrasco, for that matter, coming off subpar starts. In Gibson's case, in Chicago, 4 2/3 innings. 7 runs, 4 of them earned, but he gave up 3 home runs to the White Sox, which is unlike Kyle. Just off the outside edge, 2-1. Gibson muttering out on the mound, and he might be wondering where some of these pitches have been in relation to the strike zone. That looked like it had the corner. 2-1. And now 2-2. Fifth start for Gibson in August. 2 quality starts, both of them against the Tigers. 2-2 to Gomes. Came inside to get another strikeout. And a much easier second inning for Kyle Gibson. We're scoreless through 2. Where it's a TRIA Tuesday. TRIA Orthopedic Urgent Care open 8 to 8 daily. Now that's back in the upper Midwest here in Cleveland at Progressive Field. It is Taco Tuesday in the press dining room.
Fajita, actually.
But they call it Taco Tuesday. But they were serving fajitas. I'm starting my off-season diet early. I'm not eating it. I'll watch people eat in there, but I'm not eating it.
It didn't really matter to me what they called it because they had guacamole and then everything. The world was fine.
Okay, as long as they got guac, you're okay.
Yes, indeed.
Here's Mitch Garver to start the third. And for Garver, maybe baby steps. He's really had a tough time with Carrasco. 1 for 9 with 7 strikeouts against Carrasco. He takes strike 1. Oh, 2, and isn't that the way it is when you're struggling against somebody?
How does the umpire know? That's what I want to know. I mean, that ball didn't have to be a strike. We've seen pitches called that were the same spot of ball already today, but not with Mitch, because Mitch is struggling against this guy.
1 and 2. Mitch has improved defensively. I think everyone projected his numbers to be about what they are offensively. 260s with some power, 7 home runs. And now 2 and 2.
He's got some awfully big hits for him too. That's absolutely right. He's progressed nicely offensively. Swinging the bat in the big leagues now, starting to swing the bat in the big leagues the way he has historically in the minor leagues. And I would say that the difference in his catching finesse in a 2-month period of time has been remarkable. He's done a great job of improving there.
Next time. 1 down. That'll bring up Adrianza. Wednesday, September 12th, it's Minnesota Wild Night at Target Field. A limited number of Wild theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and a Twins Wild co-branded stocking cap. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/wild or call 800-33-TWIN. 1 down in the third. Here's Adrianza.
I really don't want to be too cavalier about what you have to do against Carrasco or what you're able to do. That slider right there, we saw 2 of them to, actually 3 of them to Garver, and that one, I mean, that's nasty. It's really nasty. And I sit up here saying that now you got to lay off the one below the strike zone, and it's a question of, it's not do as I did, do as I say.
Tap foul again, 0 and 2.
But to the best of your ability, when you go up there as a hitter, you got to have a plan. You have to have something positive and definite in your mind against every pitcher, but especially a guy that's special like Carrasco and has a special pitch or 2, like the slider that is so good, and sometimes it breaks down and across and sometimes just straight down, and it's really hard to pick up. But you have to have an idea what you're trying to do.
Fly ball short center field. Allen hustling in and caught by Lindor in medium deep center field. What a wonderful play, 2 away. And Lindor probably telling Kipnis, look, that was on your side of second base.
And he didn't even get a particularly great jump, but he did close on the ball, ran it down. He knew right away. The one thing he knew, he knew where a center fielder was playing, and he knew that was going to be his ball. And he ran right to it like he knew that from the start. He's a marvelous player. I love watching him play. Shortstop and hit and run the bases, everything.
This is up the line foul, and to do as he did, as you described earlier, come out here on a blistering hot day and get in some extra work. It's apparent that the smile is genuine. He loves to play the game of baseball, loves to practice it.
Yeah, he loves being, just being great at it, and he knows what he has to do to be great and continue with that excellence day in, day out.
8 in a row set down by Carrasco since Mauer's leadoff single in the first. Down and in, 1-1. Let's see what the final weeks of the season bring for Joe in relation to his batting average. I still think there's a hot streak that can be left in him this year. You can see him get back to 300. Low 2-1. We've seen last year and this year extended hot streaks, whereas in the last few years maybe they've lasted week and a half, 2 weeks. We've seen extended time, 3 to 4 weeks, where he's looking like the former batting champion.
Yeah, you know what's really disappointing is the time that Joe spent hurt this year.
Hot ground ball, and he's got 2 hits tonight. This will roll to the corner, and Mauer will have an extra base hit, and he'll hold up with a 2-out double. So yeah, 359 was his average against Carrasco at the start of the game, and he's 2 for 2 to the pull side against Carrasco here tonight.
2 off-speed pitches. He had a changeup the first time up for the ground ball through the hole on the right side, and then I'm pretty sure this was a slider. We'll take a look at it again. Yeah, there's that slider, but this time it's a strike. He's swinging at strikes. He's not chasing the ball down. And breaking ball strikes to Joe aren't really fooling him pitches. He's pretty good at balls in the strike zone, and especially off-speed stuff in the strike zone.
You can see the way the Indians and everybody else have shifted Joe. Once that ball gets by the first baseman, it's an automatic double. That one rolled to the corner, but Cabrera way over in right center field when that pitch was delivered. Now here's Forsythe. Hit a ground ball, reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. Slowly hit, and Lindor was able to get the lead runner at second. Fouled off of Gomes, and it's 1-1.
Good swing there by Forsythe. He had the big end of the bat right to the ball that time. It just got under it, just fouled it back.
Mauer at second. Carrasco pitching with an extra day of rest. We'll see the Indians, I think, do that a lot with the division all but automatic or already won. 1-1. Up and away, 2-1. It looks like the Indians are going to win the division with some room to spare. So are you in the camp where it would be better for a team like Cleveland to be pushed to the brink and get in the playoffs, or is it better to clinch it, say, a week and a half, 2 weeks before the end of the season?
I don't think there's anything that helps them by being pushed. I mean, I think they expect to win. If they got pushed now from here on in, it means that it wouldn't be playing very well.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that these guys are veteran guys. They're used to being in the postseason. They're gonna play hard all the way through, and I think it's better off now for them to. They'd be better off able to cruise in and set up rotations and get guys rest and all those kinds of things.
So I thought that was ball 4. Emil said it was strike 2. About 4 inches outside.
It was way outside.
Three and 2 to Forsythe with Mauer at second and 2 down. Foul back. Rosario waiting on deck. And there is ball 4, and Rosario will have his chance with 2 men aboard. Even though the team's not going to be in the playoffs, still individually an awful lot at stake, including to Rosario. He's seen his batting average dip down now into the 280s. For most of the year, it was above 300. We've seen him struggle a little bit in the month of August. Had such a great first half, probably deserved to go to the All-Star game based on what he did in the first half, and you just would like to see, for Eddie's sake, that he's has a strong finish and has more representative numbers comparable to what he did in the first half. And he takes low, ball one.
I will always believe that when Eddie Rosario struggles at all, it's because he gets a little bit pull conscious and his swing gets a little longer. He's just a master of of being able to bring the big end of the bat directly to the ball. And when you can just see him when he's thinking pull, the big end doesn't go directly. It loops a little bit, gets a little bit longer, and that's what it's looked like to me here lately.
Another fly to center. This is playable for Allen. And the Twins get a 2-out double and walk with leave them aboard, and we are still scoreless here in Cleveland. T-Mobile, big series started last night in Houston between the Oakland A's and the Houston Astros. Alex Bregman will get some mention too in the MVP balloting. You know, while Altuve and Correa have been hurt, it's been a great showcase for how good of a player and how much of an improved player Alex Bregman is.
Breakout season for him, and if you can call it that after the really terrific season he had last year, but he's been extra special this year, both offensively and defensively. Just really good.
Remember when Houston brought their eventual world championship team to Target Field last year towards the end of May, and Bregman was batting ninth? I thought if he's batting ninth, they're really, really good, and they are really, really good. Bad news, further bad news for the Oakland A's, and we'll talk about that after this pitch. 1-1 to Greg Allen, and on the outside corner, the Oakland A's put Brett Anderson on the disabled list today with a forearm strain, putting Sean Manaea on the disabled list as they were leaving Minnesota, and he has a rotator cuff strain.
That's not good.
1-2. Dribbled up the line. Going to be an interesting play. Mauer goes to the bag and makes the play on the speedy Allen. One down. So just when you think Oakland is looking so good, and they sure did look good against the Twins, on 2/5 of their starting rotation, which was derived from uncommon sources anyway.
Right.
Anderson and Manaea was I guess the one fixture. You can look at the playoff picture. Yankees and Athletics right now are the wild card teams, but the Mariners 4.5 games back are still in striking distance, and I still think that Kevin Cash has got to get some consideration for manager of the year with what he's done with everything that's happened with the Tampa Bay Rays, all the players that have been spun elsewhere, and there they are, 9 games above 500. Unbelievable. 1 strike to Lindor, singled when the Indians had a threat. Ended up leaving runners at first and third in the first. Up and in. 1-1. That's the pitch you're talking about before to left-handers,
yes.
right? You like that,
I like that
fastball in off the plate.
Yeah, I really do. And especially with these Cleveland guys, Lindor not as good inside. If the ball leaks back over the plate, he's terrific. But inside, not so good. Alonso, not so good. And see what you can do. That's why I was talking about opening up the outside part of the plate. If he's just throwing a sinker that breaks away from Lindor, that kind of moves away, Lindor's waiting, trying to hit the ball back through there, through the middle, and he can be on that outside pitch. But if you're getting 96 in under your hands, you're less likely to be on that outside pitch.
Then the curve
and see,
in the dirt.
That gets him in a hurry. You don't see Lindor check his swing like that nearly as much when he's comfortable, when he's waiting a long time seeing the ball. But you throw the ball in under his hands, all of a sudden the hands get a little jumpy. They start wanting to get the bat head out in front.
Curve was about 2 feet in the dirt, and it's still in front of the plate, and it still almost got strike 3. 2-2.
Going to try to come in there again, get it in.
And he missed. 3-2. And passed the mound and rolled into center field. Another single for Lindor.
That's just good hitting there by a very good hitter. That ball a little bit higher. He was trying to go low and away on the outside corner, which would have been a great 3-2 pitch after pounding him inside. But see, that ball just had too much to play. He was trying to go away, and he just left it in the middle. Lindor didn't hit that ball well. That's a ground ball that got down toward the label on the bat, but it just found a hole.
Surprising name on that list, probably Whit Merrifield of Kansas City. Lindor now 4th in the league in hits. Here's Brantley, reached on a fielder's choice, went to second on a Sano throwing error, and got as far as third base in the first inning.
I think the surprising name on there is J.D. Martinez.
Yeah.
Just for hits, I understand home runs.
Down and in, a ball. With Brantley threatening to beat the Twins' shift. Sano was playing about where a shortstop used to play, and now it looks like he might cheat in and be on the edge of the grass.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that's the right place to play. You take the easy base hit away from Brantley. He's not likely to hit the ball over there anyway, but there's no sense with here in this situation giving Brantley a free base with Ramirez coming up.
And a line drive base hit to center. Lindor will round second, go to third. Here's the throw from Cave, and it is not in time. Brantley delivers a single. First and third now, 1 out for Cleveland in the third. It was a good one-hop throw by Cave in that it was in the direction of the cutoff man, and that kept Brantley from going to second base. We've seen so many throws from the outfield overshoot the cutoff man.
Here's a good look at Cave. He charges the ball well, kind of short hops that pick, and throws it, as Dick said, where the cutoff man can reach it if necessary, and on the base. Just Lindor got a good jump, speedy, got over to third base ahead of the throw.
Now Ramirez, who hit a ground ball to Adrianza on the right side of the infield. Down and in, ball 1. Sano trying to keep Lindor fairly close at third. There's a 90-foot gap between the second baseman and the third baseman. I would imagine it's challenging if you're Adrianza right now, because you're the pivot man on a double play, and if the ball is hit between you and Forsythe, you've got a decision to make, don't you? Do you go for the ball, or do you go to the bag?
I think that would be very, very tough. And even if you make the right decision, if the ball's hit where Adrianza's playing, if the ball's hit directly at Forsythe, for him to get to second base from where he is and make the turn, having to look back to catch the ball, and I think it's tough duty all the way around.
1-0 to Ramirez.
And low, 2-0.
That's just that a pitcher's got to have that pitch. When you make a really great pitch to a good hitter like that, and don't get the call, that's tough.
2-0. Fly ball short center field. Lindor setting up for a tag. Cave with the catch. Here's the throw. And off the glove of Sano, the run will score. And Brantley advances to second base. Looked like Sano tried to cut the ball but didn't catch it.
Yeah, that's the right play by Sano right there. And if he catches that ball, they've got Brantley at second base, and they're out of the inning with just the one run. It's the right play, just wasn't able to come up with the catch. You see right here, at first it looks like it was going to be short enough to score the runner, but from there you're not going to get Lindor. Cave throws the ball. Sano can see Brantley going to second base and makes the right decision to cut the ball, or try to. He just didn't catch it.
And you saw Adrianza scamper to third because Sano was at third. He was the cutoff man. So now a runner at second. A run is in, and here's Encarnacion. Had a long battle with Gibson and won it with a walk in the first inning. Down and in, ball one. Gibson is an example of someone who has pitched very well this year, but hasn't been rewarded in the win column.
Boy, is that not the truth.
Gibson has just 7 wins with the 16 quality starts we mentioned. 1-0. Rick Porcello of the Red Sox has 15 wins with an ERA that's more than half a run higher than Gibson. I mean, Porcello's ERA 4.18. Gibson's coming into the game 3.63, and yet he has just 7 wins, less than half the total of Porcello.
Porcello has the great luxury of pitching for a very powerful lineup, and Gibson pitched the whole first half of the season without much run support.
1-1, and now 2-1. I mean, I think we've all learned over the years, especially the way the game is played now, and at times half the game is pitched by relief pitchers, that starting pitchers wins, for that matter relief pitchers wins too, that hardly the most relevant stat for a pitcher. You can control what you can control, and Gibson has done that marvelously this year. 2-1. A soft liner through the hole to left. Brantley around third. He'll score, and it's 2-0 Cleveland. And Encarnacion looked like he just poked the bat out and hit it through the chip. And the inability of Sano to be able to catch the relay throw, or the throw from center field a few plays ago,
That's
cost the Twins a run.
That's great hitting off the end of the bat, but he just able to get to it as so strong. Just happened to hit it in the right spot. But you're right, really the inability for them to execute that cutoff and nail the runner at second base proved to be pretty big there.
Alonso struck out his first time up to end the first inning threat. Now the Indians have in succession gone single, single, sacrifice fly, single to take a 2-0 lead. Grounder to short, and Sano shovels to Adrianza to end the inning. 3 singles and a couple of runs for Cleveland in the third.
Kyle Gibson's pitching well. Got a broken bat base hit from Encarnacion to drive in the second run of the night. Not really indicative, the 2-0 lead, not really indicative of how well Kyle Gibson's pitching, but this guy, Carlos Carrasco for the Twins, excuse me, for the Indians, been excellent through 3 innings. Single and double to Joe Mauer, the only 2 hits he's given up through 3.
Sano, Kepler, Austin, middle of the Twins lineup, will face Carrasco with a 2-0 lead. Sano went down swinging to end the first inning. Swing and a miss. His manager clearly supporting Sano, saying that what we've seen here in the last couple of weeks is not Sano backsliding into some bad hitting habits that were there in the first half of the year. Instead, what a power hitter typically goes through, some dry stretches along the way. And it's quickly 0-2 to Sano. Three pitches and he's gone. 2 down, or 1 down rather. Second time he's gone down swinging. Target Field's become a top choice for families in Twins territory, celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, and family celebrations of all kinds. You can schedule your special event in a fully catered Target Field hospitality space, available for groups of 16 to 250 plus. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWIN. Here's Kepler. On the outside corner, a strike. Kepler with a check swing ground ball to third his first time up. On the ground and out of the reach of Kipnis. And Kepler's aboard with a 1-out single. Bring up Tyler Austin. Austin getting ample opportunity to play every day, which means hitting against a lot of pretty good right-handed pitchers.
Well, he's got a chance to, when he gets a mistake and stays on it, that ball's going to stay hit, and he did that twice. A bomb to center field on Sunday, and then a really nice 2-strike, flip the ball in the right field seat swing for his second home run of the day.
Guy on the mound tonight for Cleveland's a pretty good right-handed pitcher. So is the guy pitching Thursday, Mike Clevenger. Fouled away, 1 strike. Might face some really good right-handers in the Houston series.
Yeah, pretty good chance of that.
Verlander, Cole. 1 strike. Checked his swing. Gomes bluffed a throw to first. 1-1. You DH some.
Yep.
Is it an adjustment to hit and then sit for 40 minutes and then hit again?
It's a bit of an adjustment. It really is. I was lucky that I didn't DH until late in my career, when I was, played a long time, and it was a little bit easier for me than I think it is for young guys.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
So we've seen that swing from Tyler Austin on that slider from Carrasco. We've seen it twice now. We've seen it a bunch of times in 2 at-bats from Sano. Way out in front of that slider.
Fouled away on the fastball.
And again, I wanted, the caveat is it's just not that easy to hit in the big leagues. It's just not. And this guy's got an A+ slider. But even so, you have to take enough time, and it's only a split second, but you have to take enough time to recognize the pitch, especially when you get 2 strikes. I'm okay with guys like Miguel Sano and Tyler Austin, guys who hit the ball out of the ballpark. Until you get 2 strikes, go ahead and cheat on the fastball, try to hit the ball out of the ballpark. I understand that's what they feel like they have to do, but once you get to 2 strikes, to continue that being out in front of that slider as if you're surprised that that somebody might throw you that. I just think that the little adjustments need to be made. You need to watch the ball just a little bit longer, be willing to be jammed on the fastball rather than swinging and missing a slider like that.
And Austin's gone out number 2. Twins fans were around at that time. Saw Gary Gaetti struggle with that. Tom Bernansky struggled with that. Torrey Hunter. And eventually it just seems like you do it enough and you finally catch on and you take that pitch off the plate and then suddenly it all clicks for it. I don't know how you do that other than through failing for about 2.5 years.
Well, that's pretty much right. And the other thing is at some point in time you wait longer, you see the ball longer, and then you still hit the fastball and it clicks. You say, oh, I have more time than I thought. I don't have to be quite as jumpy on the fastball, or I'm going to wait longer and hit that slider because they're not going to be able to throw the ball in the inside corner with that fastball enough times to make me pay.
So you finally get to that point and then it dawns on you that you probably had hitting coaches going back to high school who suggested all that, right? I mean, it's just, but you have to experience it.
You have to experience for yourself. Seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand and waiting long enough to recognize what the pitch is instead of cheating on the fastball all the time.
Cave swings and misses, and it's 1-2.
And again, that pitch right there, that's a nasty slider. I don't want to minimize how hard it is hitting the pitches that these guys are swinging. That is textbook. I mean, you can't teach that trajectory on that slider. That's perfect. It's very, very hard to hit.
1-2. 2-2. The trajectory, and I think the word I hear used an awful lot, the tilt.
Well, that's kind of what I was. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That tilt. That it's not just going straight sideways. It's going sideways and down, and it's really hard to hit.
2-2 to Cave. Twins down a couple of runs here in the 4th. It's going to be a tough play. Ramirez barehands it and makes the play. They say he's among the best fielding third basemen in the American League, even though that's not his natural position. And he made a fine play to end the Twins' 4th. North is presented by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities, and by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. 2-0 Cleveland. They strung together 3 singles around a sacrifice fly to score a couple of runs in the 3rd. Down the bottom of the 4th, and Melky Cabrera will lead things off against Kyle Gibson. Low, ball 1. Cabrera struck out against Gibson leading off the 2nd. And he's now 3 for 32 against the Twins right-hander.
Check swing 2-0.
Cabrera hasn't hit Gibson well at all, as you say, but he's been a hot hitter lately, and I think a very important hitter in this Cleveland lineup as they finish the season and head into the playoffs. I've felt for a while like the Indians needed one more bat in that lineup.
Yeah.
And that might sound crazy with as good as the first 4 guys are, and Yonder Alonso in the 5th spot as well, pretty good, but just felt like they needed one more hitter. And if Cabrera can be that, then it's going to make them an awful lot better.
Well, Gibson didn't want to do that. He issued a 4-pitch walk to a guy who's really struggled against him, and the leadoff man is on. Well, a lot of people in baseball anticipated that by now Andrew McCutchen, for instance, might be here with the Indians, but Cabrera has been playing adequately in right field. He's been hitting so well. McCutchen's no longer a center fielder. He's a right fielder. And so the Indians, who last year got Jay Bruce right before the end of the waiver trade deadline, and Bruce was a big part of what happened in their 22-game winning streak. And the playoff run, of course, was shorter than they would have liked. But if you're the Giants and you've got a commodity that you don't really plan on being part of your team next year, and if you ask for, say, Shane Bieber in return, and the Indians say no, and I have no working knowledge of what the what the Giants were asking for, but the Indians want to hang on to Shane Bieber rather than pick up a rental player like McCutchen.
Oh, of course.
2-0 now. Gibson having a hard time throwing strikes here in the 4th inning. There's a check swing, ball 3. 7 pitches, 7 balls, with Yan Gomes on deck.
Yeah, I'm afraid that maybe the umpire's getting in Kyle Gibson's head just a little bit. He's missed a lot of calls for him, and this can happen with Gibson every once in a while. He can just kind of lose the strike zone.
There's a strike called on the corner.
Kipnis still languishing in the 220s.
He said 216 against right-handers. That's unbelievable to me. I would never ever have thought that about this guy.
3-1.
And on 9 pitches, Gibson walks the first 2 men of the 4th inning. Yan Gomes, 8th place hitter, but he's had good success against Gibson. Garvin Alston coming to the mound. Hey, good baseball news for Mike Schilt, and I think for the Cardinals too. They took the interim tag off his managerial status and signed him to a 3-year deal today. Schilt taking over a Cardinal team that looked like it was dead in the water when they fired Mike Matheny. Well, the Cardinals playing Cardinal type baseball, if you will. 4.5 games behind the Cubs. And if the season were to end today, they'd be the #1 wild card team. Here's Gomes. Struck out swinging his first time up. Twins don't anticipate a bunt here with the infield playing back. Gibson trying to work out of his self-created mess here. First and second, nobody out. Down and away, ball 1.
And this is, I think, the kind of the final thing for Kyle Gibson that will either allow him, however you want to say it, allow him to take the next step and be really terrific and consistent or not, is the bases on balls, and the fact that he just loses the strike zone sometimes. It's kind of inexplicable. It just kind of goes away from him.
Breaking ball gets a swing and a miss. In addition to the 3 home runs he allowed against the White Sox in Chicago, he also issued 4 walks.
Right. And I'm sorry, but that's and I think the walks worse than the home runs. It's just because it's indicative of him just losing command all of a sudden. It seems to be sailing along fine, and then all of a sudden, as you say, 2 walks on 9 pitches, and you say, where did that come from?
1-1 to Gomes. Tap foul 1-2. in August, 23 2/3 innings coming into tonight, and a dozen walks. So the walks have picked up considerably in August.
Right.
Tack in the or add on the 3. That's 15 walks in 26 2/3 innings. 1-2. Gibson has 3 strikeouts. Whoa, Jerry Meals came out of the crouch like he was going to bring up his right hand there. And it's called a ball. 2-2. Doesn't look like, yeah, no. That had the corner.
He's not seeing the knee-high strike at all for Kyle Gibson.
And I asked you the other day, you are an advocate for the electronic strike zone. If we can find out some way to keep the home plate umpire engaged on the field without being in the way.
And without being a designated foul tip target. I mean, if I'm an umpire, well, wait a minute, I'm not going to call balls and strikes, but you want me to stand back here and take this abuse? I don't want to do that.
Get back the old inflatable chest protector. 2-2. Smothered by Garver. Now it's 3-2.
I just think that as we, and I'm going to assume that the box that we put up there is correct, and that if the ball is in that box and hits those lines, that it's a strike. And we see so much of that not called, and I'm in favor of it for every reason, because it's better for the pitchers, it's better for the hitters because they'll start swinging the bat. It's better for the game because it'll speed up. It's just better, I think.
Tapper left side, slowly hit to Sano. He fires across. The end result is the same as a sacrifice bunt with the runners moving up. 1 down, and now Greg Allen. Well, whatever the percentage is, 85, 90, 95, let's give the umpires the benefit of the doubt. They're doing the best they can. We know that. But let's say it's 95%. But those 5%, I mean, this is huge. This isn't a physics test, you know. I mean, innings are developed and games are won and lost because of the 5%.
Let's say that there's 300 pitches in the game, just for round numbers. There's 300 pitches in the game. That's 55%, 15 pitches that are missed. 15 pitches is too much, and turn the game around. And I'm not saying that the umpires are bad because they miss. I mean, that's a great number. 95%. That's a great number. Good for them. They're good at their job. They're as good as anybody could be. I'll give them that. I just think it's really hard. And I'm not one of those guys that say, well, that's the way the game's always been. In this case, the human element. I think it would speed up the game. I think everything would get better.
Strike on the outside corner. 1-1. Allen hit a ground ball to Mauer slowly. His first time up. Indians looking to add on to their 2-0 lead. Pulled foul. Sandy Alomar didn't let much go between his legs when he was catching.
Nothing.
1-2. This is where Gibson's improvement this year has come in handy. The ability to get a strikeout when he needs it. Corner infielders are up. Middle infielders are back.
And he needs it right here.
1-2 to Allen. Strikes out about once every 5 times. Takes a breaking ball down and in. So far, Garver has been perfect behind the plate with men on base. He's blocked everything.
Pretty good take there by Allen. We've seen a lot of left-handed hitters swing over the top of that pitch. That's Gibson's strikeout pitch. You can tell where he wants to go when he wants to strike somebody out.
And you can tell Allen probably has seen that pitch on video a few times to take something like that. 2-2. Garver held it. And it was a fastball called ball 3. Lindor on deck.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm just not sure if the knee-high pitch is not a strike, then then that means the strike zone's higher, but evidently it's not because that ball didn't get called a strike. So I'm confused.
Full count to Allen. Chunked towards third. Sano will fire across. He would have had a very difficult throw right down the baseline, so I'm guessing he probably made the right play there. 2 down. Allen with a weak ground ball for the second straight at bat. This one driving in a run.
Well, you got to trust your player right there that he made the play that he thought that he could make. You've got to get it out there. You'd like to get that out at the plate. And the way Miguel Sano charges this ball, I think he's got a chance, but he really didn't think he did, and you have to just say, okay, if that's what you think on play like that, having to barehand the ball, you say, okay, then good getting the out.
2 down, a run in. The leadoff walk comes around to score, and now here is Lindor. A foul. Just to sum up my thoughts on the umpiring, the ball strike umpiring might be better now than it's ever been in the game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But we have the technology now to make it, if not perfect, at least better than it is. Weak ground ball. Mauer will take the play himself. Lindor softly trots to first, and the Indians take advantage of some control issues for Kyle Gibson. Pepsi fans of the game, Twins fans here, hoping that they can continue to do what they've done well this year and the last couple of years, and that is play good baseball here at Progressive Field. Not the case so far. Carrasco and the Indians leading 3-0. It'll be Garver, Adrianza, and Mauer. You know, one thing I like to look at when I see a team is playing good baseball, and the Indians clearly are. Later on in this road trip, go to Houston. The Astros are playing good baseball, have for 2 years now. Indians have 3 runs, and 2 of them were scored on outs. And that's not a coincidence. Teams that play well seem to have the productive outs that score runs. There's been 1 run scoring hit for Cleveland in this ball game. That was Encarnacion's single in the third, but one run came on a fly ball. The other one came on a weak ground ball. Garver might have had a word or two with Jerry Meals about the strike zone in the top and bottom halves of the inning. Now fouled away, 1-2. Garver, Adrianza, and Mauer in the fifth. If you're a hitter, you don't go up there to make an out. But if there's a run to be driven in and you made it out, but the guy came in, you'd think that had been a success, wouldn't you?
Well, of course.
Half swing, but he went. Garver can't believe it. And he has more discussion with Jerry Meal. And Jerry giving some of it back to him. A check swing and a strikeout to start the top of the fifth.
Well, this is, I'm pretty sure this is going to look,
oh, that's
a nice check. That's a good check. And the fact that he would not have asked for help there. And that's another thing that drives me crazy too. Guy checks a swing, the umpire should immediately look at the opposite base umpire and say, what did he do? Ask for help there.
Carrasco hit by a line drive again. Adrianza will reach this time. I think it got him in the glove. Very similar to the line drive that Mauer delivered that knocked Carrasco out for 3 weeks. That's been, sadly, one of the side notes of his career, just having a target on various parts of his body. Terry Francona coming out to check to make sure that he's okay. They were very lucky that Mauer's line drive didn't fracture his elbow, and they were lucky here as well.
Well, drilled right back at him. Able to get his head and his body out of the way, thankfully. This ball comes, you know, you get a sense right there how fast the ball's whistling through the infield when big league hitters square it up.
Mauer has 2 hits already for the Twins tonight against Carrasco. They now have 4 with Adrianza's infield hit. Mauer has pulled 2 off-speed pitches for 2 hits, a single in the first, a double in the third. Mauer's hits an example of what can happen if you hit the ball hard but on the ground. And of course, that runs counter to the hitting philosophy so prevalent today, where we hear of exit velocity / launch angle, when to me of the two the most important is the exit velocity. If you hit the ball hard, you're going to get more hits.
Yeah, there's no question. And the other thing that's I think is interesting, you were talking about Joe's 2 hits hit to the pull side and where people have shifted Joe going the other direction. I think as the data continues to get collected and there's more and more sample size, if you'll allow me to use that term, which I'm not crazy about.
Just inside barely, 1-2.
I think they're going to start incorporating what pitcher is pitching and what pitch he threw to the hitter. They don't do that an awful lot right now with what the pitch was, but they shift Joel around to the left side. But if you throw him a changeup, he's going to hit that ball on the right side, and so that's what happened.
And Jerry Meals called that a strike.
And I think it was a strike, but it's the first time tonight.
And now Mauer looks over his right shoulder.
You know, everybody's watching Kyle Gibson not get that call right there. Everybody on the Twins side, and then just out of the blue, now all of a sudden that ball right on the corner is going to be a strike. Hadn't been a strike all night. That's what drives hitters crazy. It's just the lack of consistency.
2 down. Adrianza at first, and now Forsythe. Forsythe reaching a fielder's choice in the first, drew a walk in the third. When Forsythe first came to the Twins, I asked him about his hitting style, and said he just wants to hit the ball hard someplace, and we've seen that from him. A lot of ground ball hits that have found holes. It's interesting listening to a former teammate of yours, Pete McCannon. I was listening to a minor league broadcast. I find myself doing that a lot these days, but McCannon was a pregame guest, and he was talking about the swing of a contemporary player, the launch angle, and the emphasis on home runs. And he came up with an interesting analogy. At least I thought it was interesting. He compared it to watching tennis. And the real joy in watching tennis, for those of us who like to watch tennis, is the volleying back and forth. And he says with the home run emphasis now, it would be like watching tennis with everyone just trying for one ace after another, or as you said, the equivalent of a strikeout in tennis would be a double fall.
Yeah, so if you're watching, I thought Pete's a funny guy and a clever guy, a smart baseball guy. And I thought it was a great analogy as well. But I don't know if anybody want to watch tennis if every serve was either an ace or every two serves, either two aces or two double falls.
Right, right.
I don't,
well, Forsythe,
home runs are exciting.
Forsythe is a volley guy. He likes to just
he's a volley guy.
Put the ball in play. Trying to do that here against Carrasco, but he's got a 2-2 count. Foul away.
It's like Justin Turner of the Dodgers was quoted as saying, Tim Lauder and I were laughing about this. We read that Justin Turner said, if I hit 4 fly balls in a game, even if I'm 0 for 4, I know I'm on the right track. And that just perfectly sums up the I'm going to serve another ace philosophy these days.
2-2 to Forsythe. 75 pitches so far for Carrasco. So far he's scattered 4 hits. Twins got a hit in the first, hit in the third, 1 in the fourth, and now 1 here in the fifth.
Well, he's got his good stuff tonight, and he's got good command of his stuff as well. And when he's doing that, he's obviously very tough.
Off-speed pitch got him.
Yeah, great slider there.
Adrianza whistled a line drive off of Carrasco's glove, but he's left the board. And we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Head to foxsportsnorth.com. Submit a photo and message for the opportunity to be featured in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle during the broadcast and receive $100 in scratch tickets with the Minnesota Lottery. Every day is game day. Dick Bramer and Roy Smalley here in Cleveland. We've got a night game again tomorrow. Gibson gave up a couple of runs in the third, had some control issues early in the 4th inning and paid the price. The Indians got another run without a hit. Now Brantley will lead off the 5th. Outside, ball 1. Cleveland will, in almost almost certainly will win the American League Central. They've got a 13-game lead on the Twins here, and time obviously running short on the Twins to suddenly catch fire. Adrianza tried to spear a line drive, but it got by his glove for a leadoff single. Not sure. Looked like Adrianza had the right altitude for a catch. He seems a little dejected that he didn't catch it.
Looks like he thinks he should have caught it. I don't know. It's those line drives, when they're hit that hard right over your head like that, it's all about timing. And sometimes you're just a little bit late.
Third time in 5 innings, the Indians have had their leadoff man on, and now with a man aboard, Ramirez will hit, and he takes a strike. The Indians are way behind the Astros, and for that matter, the Yankees and the Red Sox for the league's best record. So, as a division winner, they would start the season or start the playoff series on the road. That kicks away from Garver, and Brantley goes to second. A wild pitch charge to Gibson.
Over through the breaking ball here, trying to get the back foot slider is not literal for the most part. It's called a back foot slider and back foot breaking ball. You're trying to throw the ball underneath the swing of the hitter that's standing on the opposite side of your pitching arm. Not quite that literally.
Poke down the right field line into the seats. See if the Cleveland machine can produce another run here in the 5th. The leadoff single, now a wild pitch. Ramirez is certainly not trying to make an out, but like his chances of advancing Brantley to third base here. Encarnacion on deck. Bounces it up the line. Sano bare hands. What a throw! Safe at first. Ed Hickox calling the runner safe. The runner at second. Brantley stays put. Heck of a play by Sano. We'll see if the Twins challenge it. Nice pick at first by Mauer as well.
Yeah, 2 really good plays on at the corners there for the Twins. Sano came a long way to get that ball. Barehanded and threw across his body. He had to come a long way. Now grab it, throw in one motion, and rifle it over there. Joe with the pick.
I think they're going to challenge it.
That's a very nice play to get to that ball in a hurry.
Twins will take another look at it. They'll have New York take another look at it. And Sano went to the ground ball. Adrianza had to hustle to cover third base. And this play is under review. Twins down 3-0, but they're taking a chance here in the 5th inning. Trying to get an out. Another look. This might be the best angle. Boy, that's.
I think they got him. I don't know if it's enough to overturn it, but I'm looking at the back of Joe's glove.
By a frame or two, maybe.
I think so, but that, it easy to see how an umpire can call that either way. You can't fault the umpire when we have to slow it down that much, and people in New York are looking at it frame by frame. It looked to me with that slow motion view that the ball hit the back of Joe's glove a fraction of a second before Ramirez's foot hit the bag, but I don't know if they'll overturn it.
Safe is the call. So good play by Sano, good play by Mauer, but on a bang play, Ramirez gets credit for an infield hit. First and second, nobody out, and now Encarnacion.
And I think if the umpire would have called him out, then his play would have stood as well.
Right. Encarnacion with an RBI single in the third inning. Taking low ball one. Over Drake getting loose. Encarnacion's reached both times against Gibson with a walk and a single. There's a strike, 1-1. Encarnacion 8 for 29 against Gibson with 4 home runs. Trying to get a ground ball hit at somebody. Gibson's got 18 ground ball double plays this year. And now 1-2.
The base hit that Encarnacion got back in the third inning to drive in a run was actually a very good pitch by Kyle Gibson. Breaking ball down and on the corner. Encarnacion just did it. He just won that battle. He got it off the end of the bat. Was able to get it to the outfield. It was a good pitch. Trying to go up and away with a fastball this time. Get him to chase.
And he will do that. 404 at bats, 102 strikeouts. Alonso's already eclipsed 100 strikeouts on the season. Kipnis with 93, Lindor with 90. And Gibson thought he had the bottom tier of the strike zone there too. 3-2. Full count with nobody out. Got him with a breaking ball. Big strikeout for Gibson. 1 away.
Great pitch right there. 3-2. It was the last thing that Encarnacion had in his mind. He went up there and got that breaking ball. 3-2. Got a base hit. So he's thinking no way he comes back with it this time because I hit it last time. He was dead on the fastball there and way out in front. And Gibson put it in the perfect spot where he just couldn't reach it. That's his strikeout pitch. That's the swing and miss pitch that we talked about at the opening of the show. He and Carrasco, 2 of the best at having pitches that miss hitters' bats. That's the one for Gibson right there.
Alonso with a strikeout and a ground out.
Big strikeout.
Down and in, ball 1. Very much a pull hitter. And he pulls one towards second. He'll get the lead runner. Return throw. Not in time. Forsythe had to wait for the hop. The runner waited for the hop as well. They got the force at second. 2 down.
Well, the way the ball was hit and the fact that Ramirez didn't get on first base and not get a real great secondary lead and bounce off of there, he was afraid he might get hit with the ground ball, so he had to wait, let the ball go in front of him. As soon as he did that, Forsythe had all the time. You see it here. See Ramirez waits for that ball right there. Now Forsythe's got an easy play at second.
And he was safe at first, but even if it were a close play, the Twins have lost their challenge earlier this half inning. First and third, 2 down. Melky Cabrera has struck out and walked. We talked about Cabrera's difficulty getting anything accomplished against Gibson, and Gibson walked him on 4 pitches, and he came around to score last inning. Off the mound, knocked down by Adrianza. Time to make the play with a good stretch by Mauer. Twins catch a couple of breaks. That ball smoked up against the mound, and it gave Adrianza a chance, and he got the out. Strikeouts already in the game.
And almost all of them on that nasty slider. It's to see there 15 swings and misses on that breaking ball out of 23 non-fastballs. He's just punishing the low outside part of the strike zone against Twins right-hand hitters. Just nasty.
Eddie Rosario will lead off the sixth. He's hit 2 fly balls to center in the 3rd inning. The fly ball left a couple of men aboard. You're right. We've seen Eddie do that a lot. Pop it up. This one to short left. And on one pitch, Rosario is retired. The hope was that getting Sunday off, and yesterday was an off day for the ball club, that sometimes hitters talk about fresh hands, that might allow Eddie to break out of a bit of a slump, but he's 0 for 3. 1 down, and now Sano. 2 strikeouts facing Carrasco.
Well, I think there's a pretty good chance that Sano's going to see some sliders here. So then the question becomes, what are you going to do about it? I mean, so there's a fastball on the outside corner, and you have to make up your mind as a hitter. What am I going to do here? If I'm going to look for the fastball, then I have to hit any fastball that's a strike, because I just can't get behind.
Came another one off the plate, 1-1.
I can't get behind, and then here come the sliders that I'm having trouble with. Or I'm just going to look for the slider and try to hit that over the center field fence.
2-1.
Hitting the ball over the center field fence, I think, is a great idea for Miguel Sano anyway. If you're trying to hit the ball to center, you wait a little bit longer, you see the ball a little bit better, and he's certainly strong enough to handle it to all fields.
Swing and a miss on the fastball. 2-2.
Here comes the attempted strikeout slider.
And he hooked it into the batter's box. 3-2. Kepler on deck. He missed, so we'll take a walk with 1 out in the 6th. Kepler, 1 for 2, will come to the plate with a man aboard.
Approaching the plate for the Twins, right fielder Max Kepler.
Kepler grounded a single to right in the 4th inning. Grounded to 3rd his first time up on a check swing. Double play grounder. Kipnis to Lindor. And Kepler does a nice job beating out the relay.
And Kipnis had a hard time getting the ball out of his glove. Not a hard time, but just enough delay to allow Kepler, who gets down the line pretty well, to beat that throw.
2 down, a runner at first, and now Tyler Austin, who struck out twice. A miss on the breaking ball. I asked Austin and Jake Cave today something, and I bounced it off of you while you were enjoying Taco Tuesday, and I was watching you eat.
You must be talking. Must have been talking to somebody else.
No, about the biggest jump that they've experienced in terms of having to make adjustments up the ladder in professional baseball, and they each said from high A to double A was the toughest adjustment they had to make. And you did then before the game, as you did just now, nodded your head, I think, in agreement.
Double A is the toughest minor league to play in. There's not a question in my mind. You've got a lot of major league type talent there that's on the way up, trying to hone their skills. The lights aren't as good as they are in AAA, and by the time you get to AAA, if you've been successful in AA, the guys in AAA they're around, the pitchers are around the plate more. There's guys coming down after having had their time in the big leagues. It's AA is that's a very, very difficult league.
Swung on and missed. And Austin strikes out for the 3rd time against Carlos Carrasco, who now has 9 on the night.
Safe. Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
3-0 Cleveland. A couple of runs in the 3rd, another run in the 4th. Kyle Gibson's out there to start the 6th inning, having thrown 96 pitches. And he delivers a strike to Jason Kipnis. Bottom third of the Cleveland lineup. Kipnis has grounded out and walked. Gomes has grounded out and struck out. And Allen has grounded out twice weakly. There's a bunt and a base hit. Beating the shift. And Kipnis is aboard. It's the 4th time now in 6 innings that the Indians have gotten their leadoff man on against Gibson.
Kyle obviously not very happy about that bunt for a base hit to beat the shift. Not, I don't think unhappy with Kipnis, just unhappy that that's the result of what happens every once in a while when you're playing for the shift. We look at Gabriel Moria out, the Twins bullpen getting loose.
Gomes the batter.
I would tell you that Kyle Gibson's pitched very, very well tonight. He's minimized damage that could have been a lot worse. He's made some good pitches that didn't turn out well for him, and to have this Indians lineup only 3 runs through here with some of the opportunities Cleveland had, it's been pretty good. The 2 walks in the 4th inning really hurt him. There was an extra run there without the benefit of a hit because of the 2 consecutive walks to start the inning. That's a run that's tough to give up to the Cleveland Indians.
Swung out and missed.
But this is the way you have to play good teams. We saw Miguel Sano unable to make a cutoff and get the batter runner going to second base, which would ultimately have saved a run.
Right.
And then the 2 walks by Gibson, one of them coming around to score. Those are 2 of the 3 runs that could have been avoided.
And now 1-1.
Nice pick there by Garver. But you have to avoid those runs. Them adding on runs. It's one thing if the Indians pound out 4 home runs and scored 9 runs. I mean, they can do that. But if you're pitching pretty well as Gibson is, you got to figure out ways not to give them a run here, a run there, when just because you haven't played your game the way you want to play it.
And flared to right, a base hit. Kipnis round second, on his way to third. Kepler's throw comes through and by Sano, and Gibson right where he needed to be, backing up the play. First and third, nobody out.
Well, Kepler got to the ball and got the ball to third base in time. He just gave Miguel Sano a very difficult hop to handle. He's able to make a big hop throw or a throw in the air. He gets him there. See here, broken bat hit, charges the ball very, very well and comes up throwing. But it's 1-2 hop. The second hop was an in-betweener that Sano just could not come up with and tag at the same time. It's going to be bang, bang, but the ball beats him there.
Yeah.
And a 1-hop throw or a throw in the air gets him.
Infield in now, first and third, nobody out. Number 9 batter Allen at the plate. He's hit 2 weak ground balls, 1 to Mauer, and the weak ground ball he hit to Sano drove in the 3rd Cleveland run.
And this is driving Gibson crazy because he gives up a bunt hit into the away from the shift and then a broken bat. So he thinks he's pitching pretty well, and he's first and third, no out.
Yeah, Allen tries to bunt a run home. Gibson, or excuse me, Kipnis and Allen look at one another and nod.
That's what's called a safety squeeze. That is not as opposed to a suicide squeeze, when the runner just takes off early and with the delivery of the pitch and the hitter has to bunt the ball. Safety squeeze, the batter tries to lay the ball down in a good spot, and the third base runner just reads that and decides whether he can make it.
Forsythe gets the out at second base. Another run in. 4 Cleveland runs, and 3 of them have been produced on outs. Allen has 2 runs batted in, and he's hit 3 ground balls that have had about a dozen hops in them. So 1 down, and Gibson goes through the lineup 3 times. Won't be a quality start. because the Indians, well, they didn't complete 6 innings for one thing. Frustrating outing for Gibson because he probably pitched better than the numbers are going to show.
That's absolutely right.
Control issues that cost him a run in the 4th, but productive outs, scoring 3 of the 4 runs for the Indians, and he's out after 5 1/3 innings.
And I feel for him sitting there as we look at Gabriel Moore. I mean, Kyle Gibson sitting there. Sometimes you're in that situation, say, how did that get away from him? He did not get knocked around. Anyway, Gabriel Moore in. He's pitched pretty well for the Twins here. We saw him up a little bit last year, getting more of an opportunity this year.
And Moyle will try to keep this game within reach. Runner at first, 1 down. Lindor with 2 singles and a ground ball to Mauer. Lindor statistically a much better hitter from this side of the plate. And he drives the first pitch to center, a base hit. And Allen will hold up at second. Coming into the game hitting .362 right-handed, .261 left-handed. 3rd hit of the inning, first one that's been hit sharply, and it'll bring up Brantley.
And I'm not surprised by the right-handed numbers. I'm a little surprised at .261 left-handed. But right-handed, he's awfully good. He's throwing the ball in the middle of the plate. He's going to get the big end of the bat to it most times.
And now Brantley. And then another switch hitter, Ramirez, who's about evenly split right-handed and left-handed in terms of batting average. Brantley has 2 singles. Scored a run. Fouled back, lost his helmet. 1 strike. First and second. Indians already have 3 hits in the inning. Back. A couple of years ago, of course, the Indians got to the World Series, got to the brink of winning it without Brantley. Last year, at least, he got to play in the postseason again. Didn't have a particularly good series against the Yankees. 2 strikes to Michael Brantley. That's to left. And Rosario is there for the catch. 2 down. And that'll bring up Ramirez.
To the plate for the Indians.
Twins fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports North, and Twins baseball wherever you go. 2 down. And now Jose Ramirez.
Good test for Moya right here. Brought in to face Lindor, Brantley, and Ramirez, at least. Left-hander against 2 good right-handed hitters.
Taking low, ball 1.
So a nice test. Another dangerous right-handed hitter after Ramirez. So Moya, as a left-hander, has his work cut out for him. It's a good test.
To left field, Rosario over, chasing it. Can't get there. It'll score 1 run. It'll score 2 runs. Rosario has a hard time with the retrieve. And Ramirez comes up with a big 2-out hit. The Indians have broken it open 6-0. Probably a 2-run double for Ramirez. I'm guessing Lindor would have been sent home anyway, but Rosario did have some problems with the ball in the warning track.
A little breaking ball or change up or something right in the middle of the plate. Ramirez has a potential MVP of the league. Not going to miss that one. 2 guys on.
Couple of runs batted in for Ramirez. Now 93 on the year. And it is 6-0 Cleveland. Gibson charged with 5 of the runs. Though I believe one of the runs in the 3rd inning will be ruled an unearned run. No. Check that. It will be an earned run. There wasn't an error charged in that inning. So no, didn't make the cutoff attempt, but no error was charged. 1-1 to Encarnacion. Drilled to left, a base hit. Ramirez being waved around, and Rosario again fumbles the ball. And again, I don't think it'll result in an error to Rosario, but he's having a tough night out in the left field. Another 2-out hit with Moya having a tough time pitching to the front end of this Cleveland batting order. Four runs here in the 6th. Single and a run batted in for Encarnacion, his 2nd of the night. He's got 89 on the year.
Eddie normally so good at charging the ball. He does a good job here, but the ball bounced up into the heel of his glove a little bit. He wasn't able to handle it. It would have been interesting. He charged the ball well. It would have been interesting to see it play at the plate there, but he wasn't able to handle the ball.
Swung on and missed. Alonso is 0 for 3 on the day. Dribbled foul, 2 strikes. He has faced 4 men, giving up 3 hits. All of them hitting from the right side of the plate.
Right.
There's the lefty taking a call, 3rd strike. And the inning finally ends, but not until the Indians break it open with a 4-run 6th inning.
third inning. Edwin Encarnacion gets a broken bat hit to put the Indians up 2-0. Encarnacion on the way to a big day in the 6th inning against with Moya pitching. Ramirez a 2-run double to left center. Other than that, it's been all Carlos Carrasco. He's been extra special good tonight. Nasty, nasty slider.
And the Twins down by a bunch. Carrasco's still out there. Cave will lead things off for the Twins. And he takes a strike. And that's one thing Carrasco's done very well tonight. That is get ahead 0-1. Brandon Geyer in right field. 25 plate appearances. Hold on a second. 25 and 20 first pitch strikes.
That will generally give you an edge. Throwing strikes, it's just everything.
Cave drives it a long way foul down the left field line.
Especially when you have this kind of stuff. But for any pitcher in the big leagues, it's the better stuff, the more dominant you can be. The lesser stuff you have, you've got no chance unless you get ahead. It's just so important.
And it's the quality of the strikes too. He's been pitching to the perimeter of the strike zone, hasn't thrown much down the middle, and he gets Cave to look at a pitch down and away on the corner. 1 down. And strikeout number 10 for Carrasco. 10th time this year he's had 10 or more strikeouts and twice against the Twins.
This might be the best I've seen him tonight. He's throwing, you're right, he's throwing the ball in great spots. His fastball has been, to get ahead, has been around the perimeter of the zone, not so much in the middle. He hasn't hung any sliders that I can remember where I thought there was one that a Twins hitter should have hit.
Here's Garver. He struck out twice, and he drives it to center field, but right at Allen. That's the way it's going for Mitch Garver against Carrasco. He struck out twice against him, and now he's 1 for 12 with 9 strikeouts against Carrasco. 2 down. It's the 20th time this year that Carrasco has picked up double digits in strikeouts. And I think even watching from the center field camera, you can see why.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
You look at this Cleveland rotation. We mentioned they've got 3 in the top 10 in the league in earned run average. Bauer, Kluber, and Clevenger. And this guy has the 4th highest ERA on the staff, and he's close now to winning his 16th ball game with an ERA of less than 3.5. So there's no mystery where the biggest gap is between the Twins and the Indians. It's in the starting pitching. Carrasco misses, and it's 1-1. Twins won't see Kluber, but they'll see Clevenger on Thursday. Adam Plutko will go tomorrow. High fly to center. Playable for Allen. 7 shutout innings for Carlos Carrasco. And a 7-0 Cleveland lead. 4 runs in the 6th inning. You can stretch it out on the grass at Target Field coming up on Yoga Night, presented by United Healthcare, Wednesday, September 5th. Participants will receive a Twins branded yoga mat, Twins game tickets, and an on-field yoga class. Reserve your spot today at twinsbaseball.com/yoga. The Indians broke the game open in the 6th, and maybe it's important to remember that that inning started with a shift beating bunt single by Jason Kipnis. And after that, the whole inning kind of fell apart on the Twins. Oliver Drake will hope for a better inning in the 7th.
We see Oliver Drake's numbers here since coming over.
And he'll face Brandon Guyer, making his first plate appearance in relief of Melky Cabrera. One strike. Drake had a tough outing at Target Field against Oakland. 1 inning, a couple of hits, a walk, a home run, 3 runs allowed. First time he'd given up a run in near 4 weeks. Check swing and a strikeout of Guyer on the check swing. 1 down here in the 7th.
Interesting delivery Oliver Drake has. It's straight over the top. And straight over the top from you'll see it here coming up. He leans back. Starts from a position with his head and upper body way back. Stays back there and then tries to bring everything over the top and toward the hitter all at once.
The replay we showed you brought to you by Carrier. 1-0 to Kipnis. And a 2-0. Twins still in the pull shift. Of course, here not expecting Kipnis to lay down a bunt anyway. Turned out to be a pretty shrewd play by Kipnis to start the 6th inning. And a soft line drive into center for a base hit. And Kipnis has his 2nd base hit of the ball game. A 1-out single will get Gomes to the plate. #12th hit for the Indians. Gomes is 1 for 3. A bloop hit his last time up.
Yeah, bloop hit is right. They hit the ball, do their share of hitting the ball right on the screws, but they've had a number of very productive below the bat label contacts tonight. 2 of them ground balls that scored runs and just hitting the perfect spot. Gomes last inning with a broken bat flare. There's Kipnis with a little flare.
1 strike.
Putting the ball in play is important, though.
Well, I keep thinking back to the Royals and their World Series run in 2015, and they ran through so many hitting coaches, and then they finally settled on Dale Swaim, who probably didn't say anything different than George Brett and the other hitting coaches that they ran through there. But that year was a great year for the Royals. In part, they had a great bullpen, but offensively, they finally got on board with the importance of putting the ball in play and trying not to strike out. Now, no one goes up there trying to strike out, but toning things down and just putting the ball in play. And it was one of the reasons they had some very good at bats, particularly in the postseason, and ended up winning it all.
It's a real learning experience for a hitter to understand that at some point in time in your at bats, you have to give up the inside corner and be willing to be jammed with a fastball. And it's a real learning experience. nobody wants to be jammed, but the way guys strike out for the most part now is not changing what they're trying to do at the plate when the count goes to 2 strikes. As we look at a little slider or something from Oliver Drake that strikes out Jan Gomes. But I think when hitters become good hitters, consistent hitters, that happens when they realize that they can't have the same approach against every pitcher on every count. And especially with 2 strikes. And you don't want to turn a home run hitter into a slap to right hitter. That's not what any hitting coaches would be talking about. And Dale Swaim the same way. But you're beating your head against the wall with 2 strikes if you continue to think if he throws me that inside fastball here, I can hit a home run to my pull field, and then just consistently make outs, striking out on pitches that you can't handle because that's your approach. You haven't changed your approach from before you have 2 strikes until you have, and then when you have 2 strikes.
1-1 to Allen.
That's what the Royals did. They didn't try to slap the ball in the opposite field until they got to 2 strikes. But when they got there, they said, okay, I got to do something a little different here just to keep myself alive. I've got to watch the ball longer, and if I make a weak out, if I hit the ball badly, if I hit the ball below the label, if I get jammed, I still have a chance. I have no chance if I swing and miss.
Right. Well, we've seen Kyle Gibson be a strikeout pitcher almost to the degree that Carrasco has been a strikeout pitcher. But tonight Carrasco was able to get strike 3s and Gibson was not. Again, you know, the Indians opened it up with some 2-out hitting in the 6th inning, but 3 of their first 4 runs were scored with balls just put in play.
Yeah, balls hit below the label for the most part.
Right. Tap foul again. 2-2.
Now Carrasco has special stuff tonight, and I'm not going to say that the Twins hitters, were necessarily doing anything wrong because they were swinging and missing one of the best sliders in the game. It's too easy to sit up here and say that. But you do have, when you have 2 strikes and you know a guy's got that pitch, and he's also got a fastball that can get in on you. If you wait and watch the ball a little longer, you may be jammed, but you won't flail totally helplessly at the slider. And it's a tough call. As a hitter, you just don't have that much time, and it's really, really hard to give up on the fastball.
And with 2 out, needs to be a throw to first. And that ends the inning, a scoreless inning in the 7th. 3 strikeouts for Oliver Drake. Yeah, an interesting pickup by the Phillies, getting a veteran bat. Bautista going to the contending team, so the season's worked out as he had hoped. Going what first started the year, I believe, with Atlanta, then spent some time with the Mets, and now gets a chance for some postseason play. Mauer with a couple of hits against Carrasco, who's still pitching out there in the 8th inning, missing with ball 1 and now ball 2. Twins haven't scored a run against Carrasco. You can see that on the scoreboard. They've only gotten one man to second base. That was in the 3rd when Mauer doubled into the right field corner. And he never advanced beyond that. 2-hopper. The last hop kind of skipped to Ramirez, but he made the play, 1 away. And that'll bring up Forsythe. Carrasco just approaching now 100 pitches, and Brad Hand getting loose in the Cleveland pen. Chaska native.
How about that? 84 strikeouts in 59 2/3 innings. That's punishing some people.
The Indians are waiting for Andrew Miller to regain the sharpness that he's had here the last couple of years for the Indians. Fouled back by Forsythe. But Hand has been a great pickup for them.
Oh man, what a great pickup. And they had to give up a very promising catching prospect, right? And you hate to do that, because where are you going to find, those guys anywhere in baseball? But they were obviously definitely in need of bullpen help. And Hand is a great addition. It's different for a starting pitcher. Gene Mauch had a great answer for me one time, way back when in the National League, and Gene was managing the Phillies. The Cincinnati Reds traded Frank Robinson, just a perennial all-star slugger, to the Baltimore Orioles for Milt Pappas, who had been a 20-game winner. And I was a kid back then. I asked Gene what he thought of that trade.
This is at the time.
At the time. And he said, I love it. And I said, why is that? He said, because Milt Pappas is a good pitcher. I mean, he can beat me, but he can only beat me once every 5 days. Frank Robinson can beat me every single day that I see him. And there is some degree of that when you trade a really good player for a starting pitcher. It depends on what you need and where you are and all those kinds of things. But everyday player all-stars are tough. In this situation, giving up a great catching prospect for a reliever who can beat you more than once every 5 days, and especially when as Forsythe strikes out, especially when you need bullpen help that significantly, that's a pretty good deal, I think.
Hand was warming up to face Rosario, and he will, after a brilliant outing by Carlos Carrasco. 7 2/3 innings of shutout ball. 11 strikeouts on the night, and he looks like he's ready for October. Light refreshing finish, finally taken out after 7 2/3 innings. It was a refreshing finish for Terry Francona watching Carlos Carrasco pitch tonight.
Well, he was dominating. There's no question about it. He had as good a stuff as I've seen him in terms of the stuff itself and the location. Just nasty all night long, and Twins hitters just couldn't solve him, and it's understandable. That's pretty good stuff.
Carrasco looks like he might join teammates Bauer, Kluber, and Clevenger in the top 10 in the American League in earned run average. So you hear so much about Houston's starting rotation, and for good reason. It's outstanding. They've got Verlander and Cole and Morton, 3 guys who are in the top 7. Well, the Indians don't have to apologize for their starting pitching. If they were to get into a playoff matchup with Houston, it would be, one would think, a very well pitched series. And Rosario now facing Hand. And Rosario so single into center field with 2 down in the 8th inning. And Rosario gets his first hit of the ball game. It's a 2-out single here in the 8th. Saw the layout for Rosario's at bat, brought to you by StatCast AI, powered by AWS. And now Miguel Sano, 2 strikeouts and a walk. For whatever reason, what we've seen from Miguel over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, is a lot more swings and misses. Inside ball 1. And as a result, batting average is down to .209. Fastball on the outside edge, and it is 1-1.
Hand has an interesting delivery. It's pretty slow delivery with his body, but he kind of slings the ball. It's not a long arm sling. It's just he hides the ball pretty well behind his body and then just slings it toward the plate. I got to believe that the delivery is a little bit deceiving, and then he's got a great breaking ball.
Down and in, 2-1. If Andrew Miller can get straightened out, it's going to be a pretty formidable left-handed relief corps the Indians will take on into the playoffs behind that great starting rotation. And now on the outside corner, 2-2.
Well, I think they have 2 question marks out there. I mean, can Andrew Miller get straightened out, and can Cody Allen get straightened out?
Yeah.
And how are they going to use the starting pitching? Will Bauer be ready? And if so, what do you do with Clevenger? Because they may or may not go with all 4 starters. So it's going to be a great postseason.
2-2.
I'm excited.
Check swing, now a full count. Sano worked out a walk in the 6th, and now he's taken 5 pitches in a full count here in the 8th. Kepler on deck. Pulled foul. And he took ball 4, and a ball that got by Gomes will go to the backstop. And Rosario will hold at second. So second straight walk for Sano. And with 2 out, the Twins have 2 on. before Kepler's at bat. MLB.TV is now available at a lower price. For $49.99, you can watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription for MLB At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV. Take advantage of this special offer. Here's Kepler. He's 1 for 3. He's hit the ball on the ground 3 times. Once hard enough for a single in the 4th. Just the second time the Twins have had a runner at second base. And outside, ball 1. Twins, of course, got into the playoff field last year with 85 wins, a wild card game, but might be important to remind everybody they were still 17 games behind the Indians. The Indians won 102 ball games last year. And then you think, okay, well, what would 85 wins have done this year for the Twins? Unlikely that they'll get that many.
Probably not much.
It wouldn't get them a playoff spot. You've got the Yankees look like they're still going to win over 100 ball games as one wild card team. And you got Oakland. It's on a pace to win close to 100 ball games as perhaps the second wild card team.
Well, we're going to see now. I mean, without Manaea, without without the left-hander that they just put on the disabled list, also Brett Anderson. I mean, they've struggled for starting pitching all year and have been able to patch that together very well. And now the patches are coming loose.
3-0 to Kepler.
Still a lot of baseball to be played.
And a strike. Paul Molitor said today he still has hopes of this team, this Twins team, finishing at 500, and losing 3 in a row to Oakland obviously didn't help. They're behind by plenty here today. But counting tonight, 32 games left, and 19 of them against teams that have a poorer record than the Twins. 3-1 to Kepler. 3-2. Twins would have to win 20 of the final 32 to get there. Full count. Twins trying to put together some noise here in the top of the 8th inning. Rosario single, Sano's walk. The runners will take off here on the 3-2 pitch. Foul back.
We were talking about hitting and different approaches with when you have 2 strikes or before you get 2 strikes. One of the things that Max Kepler has done immensely better this year is hit left-handed pitching, and for the most part it's because, unlike right-handed where he wants to pull the ball and is good at pulling the ball against right-handers, he should continue to do that. Against left-handers he watches it longer to protect against the breaking balls. He's been very, very much better against left-handers because of that 2-strike kind of approach. He got him there, but he's been better.
A scoreless 8th for Carrasco and Hand. Paul Molitor, because the Indians have a 7-0 lead. Alan Buznitz will come out of the pen and he'll pitch to the top of the Cleveland lineup, and well, maybe at least just the first 3 hitters of the Cleveland lineup, not the top 4 that Tom Hanneman talked about. Lindor, Brantley, and Ramirez facing Buznitz. And Williams Astudillo is in at third base for Miguel Sano, who moves over to first base, and Joe Mauer's out of the ballgame. On the Cleveland side, you know, this is on August 28th. As soon as the September call-ups arrive, we probably wouldn't see Lindor, Brantley, and Ramirez, or at least some of them, taking their at-bats here in the 8th inning. Ball 1. The Indians have the luxury of a big division lead, and I would imagine pitchers and position players alike will get some time on the bench when the reinforcements arrive for Cleveland.
I'd say that's fair, especially later on in the game, where the game's kind of blown open like this. But in the meantime, we talked about test for Moya.
Great stop by Astudillo, and Sano can't make the backhanded pick, and the ball bounces above the Twins dugout, and so Lindor will end up at second base. Good play and a short throw that Sano couldn't backhand, and Lindor again will end up at second base.
Too bad for Astudillo. That was a terrific play he made. And the ball really had no business going in the dugout. It just it's just the way it's going, just a bad hop. But this is a nice play by Astudillo, and the ball hit off the heel of Sano's glove, and which caused the bouncing ball to be able to bounce over the screen into the dugout. That's too bad for Astudillo.
Lindor got his at bat, and Gonzalez will replace him on the bases. And that'll bring up Brantley. You know, one thing too, we've talked about the great starting pitching that the Indians have gotten this year. The fact that so many of them so regularly pitch deep into a ball game, it's allowed the Indians to have an extra bench player. They only have 7 relief pitchers, so they've got 4 bench players tonight. Diaz, Geyer, Gonzalez, and Perez. And Gonzalez and Geyer have already gotten into the ball game. And that's flared to left, a base hit for Brantley, his 3rd hit of the ball game. And Buznitz is greeted by a couple of opposite field hits. And that'll bring up Ramirez.
You see Buznitz working on that breaking ball. Clear that's what the Twins have told him that he needs to do, is get command of that breaking ball to go with a fastball that's regularly 96 or 97. He's throwing a lot of those.
But that was right down the middle, right?
Yep. But you know, that ball wasn't hit well. I mean, that's the kind of pitch right there. It's a bit of a get me over curveball, but
fouled away.
It wasn't exactly like Brantley was all over that pitch. Brantley's a good hitter, just slapped it to left, but throwing that pitch for a strike, even if it was kind of in the middle, we've seen Buznitz go streaks of innings that he's pitched up before now, and just not being able to come close with that.
Swung on and missed, and it's 0-2 to Ramirez. Lindor with 4 hits, that matches his career high. Brantley has 3. Ramirez with a sacrifice fly, 2 hits, 3 runs batted in. Encarnacion's been retired once. Very high, and it's 1-2. Buznitz, the 3rd relief pitcher for the Twins. Short pop-up, and Astudillo. The outfield grass makes the catch. 1 away.
Good curveball there after the high fastballs at 96. And that's why and how he can be effective, because he's got that good fastball up in the zone, and then it starts up there and breaks down. You say, well, that's not a good curveball, it's up high in the zone, but as a complement to the high fastball that Ramirez saw, that not too bad.
Encarnacion. Well, this is Diaz hitting in Encarnacion's spot. Yandy Diaz. Buznitz knocks it down. They'll try for a double play, but only get one, and a run scores. A line drive back to Buznitz, and the runner at third was kind of hung out to dry. And Gonzalez ended up scoring when Buznitz turned toward second base. So another out that produces a run.
And I think if Buznitz had it to do over again, he'd realize that it's going to be hard to get two on that ball, and he at least has to take a look and see where the runner from third base is.
And we'll bring up Yonder Alonso. Alonso hitless, 2 strikeouts, 2 groundouts. Though he reached once on a fielder's choice. Outside, ball 1. Check swing down and in, 2-0. Eight nothing, and Dan Otero might get the 9th inning. Three and 0. Another breaking ball missing. Fastball on the outside corner. Popped up down the left field line. A long run for Astudillo, and he gets there in foul ground near the tarp to make the catch. Indians had another run that they probably aren't going to need.
Well, that man was the man tonight. Carlos Carrasco, too much for the Twins. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Tyler Austin will lead things off against Dan Otero. Austin has struck out swinging 3 times. And he takes down and away, ball 1. Gonzalez is in at short for Lindor. And a strike on the outside corner. Outside, 2-1. Indians scored first, a pair of runs in the 3rd, another run in the 4th, 4 in the 6th, 1 more in the 8th. And Austin taps it foul, 2-2.
See what kind of 2-strike approach Tyler Austin can have here against Otero. See if you can watch it just a hair longer.
Driven foul.
That's better.
Austin now, as a Twin, 15 strikeouts in 45 at bats. But then you see the 6 home runs and the 14 hits. 2-2. Driven to right center field. And there to reach up and pull it down is Geyer, 1 away. Week and a half long road trip. And then the final road trip as well is a week and a half long road trip. Kansas City, Detroit, and Oakland. But 2 more here in Cleveland, then 3 in Texas, where we'll be playing outdoor baseball. And I'm guessing the roof will be closed in Houston because it's supposed to be about 100 degrees.
Be close to that in Arlington.
Yep. Here's Jake Cave. And Cave takes down and away, ball 1. Cave with 2 ground balls to 3rd and a strikeout. A drive to right, deep to right, and Cave hits a solo home run to get the Twins on the board. For Cave, his 7th of the year, and it's 8-1.
Good swing there by Jake. He got a fastball in, just inside middle of the plate, looked like. And down there, belt high or a little bit below where he's particularly good on fastballs. You see it right here. Ball way too much to the plate, about mid-thigh high. That's a. If you were to ask Jake Cave where he wants the ball set on a tee for him, I think that would have been it right there.
So he did what he wanted to do with it.
That's what you're supposed to do when you get that pitch. If that's your pitch, and I think it is for Jake Cave.
Mitch Garver will hit. And he sends one up the middle, and now Mitch Garver has a base hit, his first of the night. And that'll bring up A. Ray Adrianza. And now Adrianza will hit. 1 for 3 on the day. Twins have 7 hits, 2 of them here with 1 out in the 9th. And ball 1. I'm curious whether the Indians make a move for the end of the waiver deadline, the end of August. Players can still be added after that if they've cleared waivers, but that player is not eligible for postseason play. Every once in a while, somebody will be picked up in September for the final weeks of the season. 2-0 to Adrianza. Liner to Gonzalez and jumbled it a little bit. The Twins hitting Otero pretty hard here. That's the second out of the inning.
Which is no slight to Otero, but after you've seen Carrasco at hand, things look a little easier.
Yeah. There's some here in Cleveland who think that the Indians might try to grab a relief pitcher yet before the end.
Yeah, unlikely that they get anybody in September. They don't need that.
Right.
But
here in the next few days.
Next few days, yeah, for sure. But like the Phillies getting Bautista, I mean, if someone can help you win 1 or 2 ball games, especially Philadelphia, where they're fighting for it,
right,
1 or 2 or 3 ball games somehow down the stretch, it's eminently worth it.
Chopper left side. And the Indians handily beat the Twins in the opener 8-1. Twins getting on the board in the 9th inning on Cave's home run, but until that time, no one had so much as touched third base against Carrasco and the Cleveland relievers. Tom Hanneman, the Twins came to Cleveland and saw a team that looks like they are ready for the playoffs. They've got more than a month to play yet, but this Indian team, like the Oakland team the Twins just faced at Target Field, looks very, very good right now.